And the bad news are it doesn't grow out. Are we still hurting babies? And yes, we do. That's the simple answer. When we're talking about the babies we're working with, and I will show you a little bit of what we are doing, then we are talking about the 25% in the very top range here in terms of pain. The question here is not how do we get babies traumatized, but how do they survive? And again, the way they get traumatized and the way to survive is basically the same developmental path. If the baby would not dissociate, it would be at high risk for neurological damage because all the cortisol will destroy nervous fibers. So it's better to dissociate at this point than not to dissociate. As a baby, you don't have a core concept of being yourself. It means you sense your body, but you don't know that you are, because feeding is experience your body. You're sensing your body. That means if you're in a state of dissociation, you don't sense your body, you don't sense hunger, you don't sense the self. And the result is that you will get a feeding tube or getting a feeding tube back. For most traumatized babies, activating the nervous system is only happening when something terrible is happening. When there's something painful coming, they will not survive without the doctor or the nurse, but they will survive without me. And that is painful. It makes sense to think about trauma and feeding tube dependency combined. But what can we do with a traumatized baby? That's the challenge. The best way to reach out to somebody is to getting to their emotions, getting to connect to their emotions, because if you see emotion in a baby, it's no longer dissociated. Being in a room doesn't mean to be in contact. Being in contact means to be real in contact, to reach out, to connect, to get over the bridge. As a parent, it's very painful to be basically ignored. But this is what I mean when I'm talking about the kids are in their world and they can stay in this world. If you are in the fight-flight response, your oral capacity is blocked. Physiologically, you can't chew, you can't swallow. It's not about what words I use. It's about what I'm communicating. I'm communicating, I see you, I realize what's going on. And by that, I open the window of tolerance. The need of withdrawal from aversive experience will basically block all other experience if it's activated. Because again, nervous system, better safe than sorry. Being scared is best broken if you're connected. Connected with therapists, connected with even better with your parents. What we're trying to do is to get out of the state of anger, fear, trauma, and to get to a state of enjoyment, where the feeling is pleasure. The relationship between the baby and the mom can be non-nurturing. And nurturing is something you do with each other. So the mom is nurturing the baby and the baby is nurturing the mom. In our intuitive parenting program, babies are basically always open and want to play and are very happy, but these babies are not. So that hurts the parents. In the first 3 months, when the baby's in the NICU, there's kangaroo time. It's special. It's a couple of hours and it's very important, but it's not the same like being with your baby in contact all the time. The less it feels like you're in a treatment program, the better that it works. The more they feel like I'm just enjoying my baby, the better the outcome. That's for sure. Early trauma can be treated. The kids don't have to be in a traumatic state. We have to understand the experience of the infant, the mother, and their dads to change that and to acknowledge it. You may not be a psychotherapist or a psychologist, but you have seen more babies than most therapists and most psychologists. And you may be more intuitive than most psychologists are. And that's very helpful in creating a holding environment. We can regulate the infant and the parents' traumatic states when they're in that. We can connect with them. We can use our body language to settle down the situation.